Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the TradingPub.com daily report. Appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. We had an excellent day yesterday. We had two really good presentations in the afternoon. Yesterday was just one of those days. If you notice, we published our first ever midday report yesterday. Just a busy day here at the Trading Pub, so we appreciate your patience with that, but hope the midday report provided you with some good knowledge on trading and education. So real quick before we get started, again, just standard risk disclaimer: there is risk involved in trading. We're not making any kind of recommendations here, just kind of sharing with you some of our thoughts on what happened in the market and then taking a look at a couple different markets to provide education. We also have the Trading Pub rule of the day, and today's rule is that you don't have to enter all at once. A mistake that a lot of beginning traders and retail traders make is that they feel like they have to enter their trade all at once. They go all in and all out. Remember that you can scale into a trade and then scale out of a trade, and so a lot of times you're not going to pick the exact high or low of a move, but look at certain areas where you want to do business and then start to sort of get into those trades in different scales. So again, can be very helpful in sort of scaling or legging into a trade, watching it, seeing how it goes, and then either adding on or taking off. So again, the rule of the day is you don't have to enter all at once. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the charts and come up with some numbers that might be able to help us today. We're going to take a look at the S&P, and then we're going to take a look at the Australian dollar, which is kind of the thunder from down under after the past week's move. So we'll definitely take a look at that and try to show you some of these correlations that we've talked about before, that it's so important to understand whether you're trading the Aussie, whether you're trading the Euro, whether you're trading stocks, whether you're trading options. Regardless of what you're trading, if you're a gold or oil trader, you've got to know what the S&Ps are doing, because most things are going to move in correlation in some form or fashion, either with or against the market. So it's important to understand that. Alright, here's a look at the daily chart of the S&P. Remember, we pointed out a couple days ago that the 1216 to 1220 area was a really big area to watch. I believe that was on Monday or Tuesday's report. We went up, we tested the 1216 area, and we've come up in the overnight session and come up right against that as well. We've come up to about 1214, 1215. So we actually have a high of 1450 overnight. If you look at a daily chart, you've got just a little low here, 1185, that was put in yesterday. So kind of a little dip down, and then we're right back up against that high. Fridays can be kind of tough trading, so it's always good if you can have a good trade in the morning to kind of take the rest of the day off, or at least consider cutting your size down. Let's take a look at the Globex session. Obviously, we're up for the session. And if you look at this, just again, this market's kind of like a runaway train. We started out, actually sold off into Asia. You know, we had great earnings from Google yesterday afternoon. It's very important to understand that what happens in earnings season typically affects what's going to happen in the overnight session and early morning. And so this is typical. You saw Google come out, you saw a nice little run up, then you saw a little bit of profit taking. We came down to 92. So you're going to want to remember 1192, because that's the area that the selling stopped. We then began to rally. We came back, came up to 1203.50, which again we've talked about 1204. We saw 1204 is important here. We saw 1204 is important here. And again, if you watch these videos each day, you'll know the same numbers continue popping up. So 1204 is a key area to watch. Came up to 1204. Came back down to about 1195, 1196, so you want to remember 96 as well. So the way that I think about this is you say 92, 96, 1204, and kind of go in progression. We started to rally back up. We broke through 1204. We came up to about 1210, came back down, tested 06, rallied back up, and we're up around this 1516 area. So as far as resistance goes from this point, we know our support areas. We've kind of got some support at 06, then 04, then 96 and 92. As far as resistance goes, we're really looking at more of a broad area of 16 to 20 as being a key area. So again, we've tested 16 once. This second time up, if we go back up there this morning, that'll be the second or third test. Third if you consider the 1450 test in the Globex session. So a lot of times we'll see on that third test it break through, but you'll have to watch that area. There's a lot of resistance in here. If we get through there, we look at 1230 and then 1233, above that 1245, and then you start getting back to the yearly open, which is going to be a pivotal area and could, as the closer we get to it, kind of start to act as a magnet. Now looking at the Australian dollar, again, the most important thing you should see on the Australian dollar, or ask yourself if you're trading the Australian dollar, is what is the U.S. market doing? If the S&Ps are strong, chances are Australian dollar is going to be strong. If you pull up a daily of the S&P, and you look at it side by side, you'll notice you had this downturn in the S&Ps, downturn in the Aussie, upturn in the S&Ps, upturn in the Aussie. So again, extremely important to understand that. Right now, this thing's like a runaway freight train. And remember, we were up at 110 just a couple months ago, so this thing does have room to move in the event that things continue to stay positive. But again, just want to keep that in mind and kind of show that correlation today. As far as resistance goes, you do have some resistance up here around the 102.90, 103 area. Not a whole lot of support until you get down back around par. So again, kind of in a tough spot here for support and resistance, but those are two areas to focus on for sure. So wanted to just also remind you our next event, and we've got a recap posted on our blog. If you go to TradingPub.com, click on Education, you'll see a recap of those events with the recordings. We leave them up for a couple days. And our next event is going to be October the 27th at 4 o'clock Eastern, or sorry, 4:30 Eastern. It's a bull versus bear options shootout. And what we're doing here, we're going to take two top options traders, throw up a stock symbol, and let them basically debate on whether or not it's a bullish or bearish scenario and what types of strategies they could use. So you can really learn a lot from this, seeing kind of some professional traders make their decisions, make their analysis, and then translate that into an option position. So I'm excited about that event. If you'd like to sign up, you go to TradingPub.com, click Pub Events. Hope everybody has a good day, good trading, and cheers from the Trading Pub.